So, next on my merry adventure of cooking for today is an old favourite, good old apricot chicken. I like to keep it really, really simple, and I hate using packet mixes for this one because it's literally apricots, a base flavour, some sort of stock, in this case I'm going to use apricot nectar, and chicken. We overcomplicate these things, and I don't see a point in using packets for things like this. So some people like to use pieces. We here hate trying to eat something off rice with a bone in it. I went to the supermarket today and they didn't have thigh fillets for less than $12 a kilo. I refuse to pay $12 a kilo for thigh fillets. So what I thought I'd do is quickly go through with you guys one of the ways that I try and save a bit of money when I've got the energy for it. Okay, so I've gone and brought what they call thigh cutlets. You can just buy whole thighs. Basically, there's that one bone left in it. All I'm literally going to do is cut down the side of the bone, remove it. If there's any really big chunks of meat on it, I might cut them off. Most of the time it's just not worth it because all you're going to get is gristle. Now, they're going to charge me literally double the price because they've taken that out for me on a bit of skin. I don't agree with it and I refuse to pay it. Now, obviously, not everyone has the time or patience to do this. If you don't, that's fine. Don't stress yourself. Just go and buy thigh fillets, or you could just pick up. I reckon drumsticks work really well for this, personally. Just peel off the skin. And I'm just going to work my way through. I've got, I think, a kilo there. If you're going to do it this way, always buy just that little bit more, because you are actually losing a little bit of weight, which is again where they justify the price. But I don't see how losing maybe 10%, 15% of your weight is worth literally double the price. Maisie is at full attention at the moment because Dad is using chicken, and there's always a good chance of getting some chicken. So again, just going to work our way through these quickly. And now we have we know we have their attention with Mr. Noah, who's normally very, very patient. Decides to stop by. So I have to wipe that bench after I've done with this because chicken is just horrific. So I'm going to serve this on rice. Now it takes sort of 20 minutes to cook this, 25 minutes. About 10 minutes in, I usually chuck my rice in the rice cooker. You can do the old absorption method on the stove if you don't have one, or however you choose to cook your rice. I find, honest to God, a rice cooker is just the easiest thing in the world, to be brutally honest, and I find it's just as efficient. So all I'm going to do, cube my chicken up. You want decent sizes cubes because you don't want it to overcook, you don't want it to become kind of tough and stringy, and you want some good nice chunky bits in there. So we're probably looking at kind of close to an inch wide pieces. What I've also gone out and done today is I brought some dried apricots. Now I love dried apricots in this. It just adds a little bit of texture. They actually reconstitute really well. You end up with these real nice chunky bits of apricot in there. And they also have a lot of flavour. That's my personal opinion. Feel free to omit them and just go with just the nectar if you like. As I will probably repeat ad nauseum. Guys, change my recipes, please. Look at it as more of a guideline. Look at it as a suggestion. Anything you don't like, omit it. Anything you love, double it. Anything you want to remove, but it shouldn't be. That's what I'm looking for here. It shouldn't be a sacred art to cooking a particular recipe. We should not have any sort of issue, guys, with changing things up to what we love and what we want. It is that simple. So what I'm going to do is I've already got my hot plate on. Get my favourite pot on. I'm going to get some oil into that. Nice my olive oil. Barely enough in there, but so bad. I've pre-prepped so you guys didn't have to watch it and be bored. A little bit of Apricot. Very lazy cut on the carrots there. I kind of want them to cook fast. I don't want them to take 30 minutes to soften. I've then got some spring onions in place of normal onion. Feel free to use normal onion, and some celery. So add that in. Now you could add garlic if you like it. You could add some parsley, all sorts of things to this. I'm trying to keep it simple today, mostly because I think this will be what my daughter will want for dinner. So if it's got any of the bad stuff in it, she won't eat it. Well, anything that you can see. So guys, what we're going to do, essentially the whole point of this kind of sauteing things off is that we start to get some flavours building up on the bottom of that pan. Sauce a bit of celery, maybe make flame there, or I'll pick that up after. So we just keep it moving, and what we're looking for is the onion will start to wilt, the celery will start to soften just a little bit. Usually takes a minute or two. You can have a look. If I get out of the light there for you. You see that the spring onion is slowly starting to wilt down. If you're using brown onion, you'll see a similar thing. Or white onion, it'll start to wilt. It'll start to actually go kind of translucent. That's when you know you're pretty much on the right track. I just like to keep it moving a little bit. What I'm going to do quickly while that's happening is rinse off and wash my chopping board. The glamorous side though is kitchen that you don't get to see, the tiny, tiny, horrifically small sink I have to work with. Thank you, wifey. I told you to be an issue when we moved in. So, I'm going to, now I've got a 200 gram packet there of the apricots. I probably wouldn't use the full 200, not unless I was using a lot more chicken than I am. But all I'm going to do is just kind of quarter them up. You can halve them, they're a bit smaller. Basically, just, you know, we don't want a whole apricot in our mouth, every mouthful, but we also don't want to cut them up so small that they dissolve. The whole point of this is that we're actually getting the apricot in our mouths and adding that texture and flavour. So I'll keep giving this a bit of a stir. See how, if you have a look, we're starting to get some of these browning bits. That's your flavour right there. That's the good stuff. I reckon these are mostly small enough just to halve, to be honest. Being a bit lazy with my cutting today, but I haven't cut anything off in a long while, so. So they're going to go straight in. We'll give them a bit of a stir as well. Now I'm just going to add that chopped up chicken. Done. So what we're going to do, we're going to stir that until we brown up that chicken a little bit. We definitely want to get some colour into that chicken, which again, colour is flavour. When it comes to things like fry fillet and all that, there's a fair bit of fat in them. Fat is flavour in my mind, but it's up to you which way you want to look at that. Some people want to cut all the fat off. So be it, you know. What suits you, suits your diet, your lifestyle, your needs as well, is more important than what's written on a recipe. Don't let it kind of make you feel that it's not suitable. You know, you could, realistically, you could use anything. You could use chicken breast. My advice will be adding the breast a little bit later in the process. So probably after you've added your nectar and then cooked it off for a little bit. I would probably also consider cutting into good sized chunks so that you're not running that risk of it drying out. When I used to do curries, so we used to have curry nights with friends and we'd get together and cook up all sorts of different curries. Had a particular friend who only ate breast chicken. So what we figured out was we'd cook the entire curry, start to finish, and we'd only have the chicken in about the last 10 minutes and just let it simmer off in the end. And what it meant was that it was still really, really juicy, and we did lose, yeah, I guess any flavour. Possibly got that a little bit low. Joys of using electric cooking. Temp drops off real quick. Unfortunately, instead of getting a lot of those beautiful flavours going, we actually almost start to stew the meat, which is quite often people's biggest mistake when cooking, well, steak. They let the temp drop down too much. So I'll give that a minute or so. Alright, so I have 1 litre of apricot nectar here. Probably a little bit too much, but I just want to use enough to coat the chicken. Just enough. So that was, yeah, give or take 500 mils. I feel of it. Remember, we are going to reduce this down a little bit. Actually, probably closer to 750. What I'm then going to do to that is I'm going to add a couple of stock cubes. Because we don't want to dilute too much of the flavour by adding stock and water, I'm going to just fully go with cubes here. They'll dissolve through, they'll still have the same amount of flavour. Now I've used beef here. The only real difference is that your beef stock cubes tend to have that more celery salt flavour. And I actually really like that. So I'll tend to use beef stock cubes or beef stock powder in flavour of chicken for a lot of dishes. Chicken definitely has its place, but call it a personal preference. I prefer the flavour, and that's why I do it. Alright guys, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'm just going to let that simmer away, and we'll go from there. G'day folks, how are we going? Welcome back. So, going to kind of finish off this apricot chicken. Now, due to, well, just call it technical difficulties, it's a little bit later than I thought finishing it off. And unfortunately it has cooled down slightly, so I've just kind of brought it back up to the heat, and you'll see by this view when I get to it. What I'm basically going to do is, it's not quite thick enough. I like that really glossy sheen to it, so what I've done is I've just got about a teaspoon of corn flour and probably 40 or 50 mils of water, and I've just mixed that in, and all I'm going to do pretty much as an almost finishing touch, now that I've got this nice and steaming, nice and hot, I'm going to add that in. I'm going to give it a nice stir. Now, I mean, you can choose not to add this if you like. Corn flour typically should be gluten free, so it doesn't really muck up any of those sort of things. And what it does is, as it heats up a little bit, you end up with that really nice glossy sheen to it. My good old trusty rice cooker. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I stand by, this is just as good as anything you can do in a pot, and probably in half the time frame. So we give this a stir for probably 2 or 3 minutes at most, and we'll start to see it thicken almost straight up. I'll let everything just, I've had a taste of the chicken before. It is really nice and tender and absolutely beautiful. One of my favourite ways of doing this is, remember to stir your rice before you start the video so that you can seamlessly grab out a spoonful of rice. So I mean, you can do it in a bowl. Obviously it's a lot easier for you guys to see on a nice plate of rice, but it sits really well for cooking tomorrow or the next day, or heating up at work, whatever you may want to choose to do with it. I like it nice and saucy, which is what it is, so I haven't over thickened it. You could add another tablespoon if you really wanted to, or sorry, another teaspoon, and it'd probably be absolutely beautiful. Just going to use a ladle, which is probably one of the easiest ways to finish this off. And I'm going to try and get some of that nice chicken, some of those dried. So if you have a look at those apricots now, guys, they're almost fully reconstituted. So what you've got is, instead of these, chili dried apricots, these really nice textural little additions. If you wanted to, you could add some greens to it. I'm sure it'd make it healthier. But apricot chicken, again, like most of my food, doesn't always look the most beautiful. But I'm pretty sure wifey's behind the camera right now. I'll tell you that it's absolutely tasty. And I'll leave it there, guys. We will chat soon. I've still got to finish off your... gone blank now.
It's rice cooked?
Yes, the pork belly. So we'll get to that probably in the next hour or two. This will all be amalgamated, cut up into different pieces, and you'll have some beautiful videos up. Chat to you soon, guys. Bye.